G'day everyone, it's Matt here, and in this short video we'll learn everything about Arturia's recreation of the classic bass machine Acid V. Let's dive in. Acid V embodies the ultimate cult classic bass synth, which transcended the boundaries of conventional music, creating new genres, styles, and musical cultures. Prepare to be immersed in a sonic journey where your mixes are infused with dynamic, ever-evolving distorted bass grooves that pulse through your speakers. Before we dive deeper into the intricacies of Acid V, let's take a moment to check out some of its awe-inspiring presets. Let's start with an overview of the main panel. The top section of the voice parameters allows you to program the coarse sound of your bass lines and melodies. Setting various waveform settings or playing with the filter and its envelope will always result in a satisfying sound. The parameters include the waveform toggle, pitch, filter cutoff, filter resonance, envelope mod, decay, and accent. Let's start with the waveform toggle. This parameter allows you to switch between the original sawtooth waveform and the original square waveform of the TB303. Next, we have the pitch parameter. This controls the overall pitch of the oscillator. You can adjust the coarse value using a left click and the fine value using a right click. The filter section is the most important part of the synthesizer. It's a combination of the particular cutoff, resonance, and filter envelope that created the famous 303 sound. Filter cutoff controls the cutoff frequency of the filter. You can set the cutoff frequency to your desired value, making the sound darker or brighter. filter resonance parameter controls the resonance level of the filter. It emphasizes certain frequencies around the cutoff point, giving your sound a sharper and more pronounced character. The filter can sound beefier when used without resonance, or more nasal and acidic when the resonance goes fully up. Envelope mod applies an amount of the envelope modulation to the filter cutoff. Sonic-wise, it creates a sharp movement on cutoff when a note is played. You can adjust this parameter to give your sound a bit more intensity and energy. Decay controls the size of the filter envelope decay, going from razor sharp to longer decays. It works specifically well when combined with envelope mod adjustments. Lastly, we have the accent parameter. It controls the level of accentuation applied to the accented steps. Adjusting this parameter adds emphasis to specific steps, creating more dynamic patterns. Acid V comes with an additional sound generator. The sub-oscillator allows you to compensate for loudness loss when increasing the resonance or flattening the fundamental with distortions. It also provides the ability to detune it from the main oscillator using octaves. The sub-oscillator section consists of 3 parameters: waveform, octave, and volume. You can choose between sine, ramp, and square waveforms. This selection determines the character and timbre of the sub-oscillator sound. You can also change its octave, as well as control the volume. By changing the octave value, you can detune the sub-oscillator from the main oscillator, creating interesting harmonies and textures. The vibrato module allows you to easily create pitch oscillations, adding a touch of pitch groove to your sound. The speed parameter sets the frequency of the vibrato oscillation. The speed is measured in hertz, determining how fast the pitch fluctuates. Finally, we have the amount parameter. The vibrato amount determines the intensity of the pitch modulation applied to the oscillators when a vibrato step is played. It's important to note that the vibrato module is side-chained by the sequencer and mod wheel. This means that the vibrato effect is only audible when vibrato steps are played in the sequence. The distortion module allows you to shape and overdrive the tone of your sound with additional harmonics, making it an essential tool to create interesting and proper acid sounds. Let's try out a few of these algorithms while changing the drive and dry wet parameters to see what flavors it can bring to the table. By the way, the drive volume compensation is always enabled to ensure consistent output levels. You can adjust the drive level using a percentage scale. Make sure to try all 14 algorithms to find which one suits your style and the sound you're after. The advanced voice parameters section provides additional control over specific aspects of sound generation. Let's take a closer look at each parameter. The accent attack parameter extends the attack time of the accent envelope. By increasing this parameter, you can shape the dynamics and emphasize the attack phase of accented notes. Now let's explore the bass boost parameter. It allows you to boost the bass level of the oscillator. By adjusting this parameter, you can enhance the low frequency content of your sound. Next, we have the cutoff range parameter. It extends the cutoff frequency range beyond the range of the original unit, allowing you to shape the filtering characteristics of the sound. The noise parameter increases the circuit background noise, which works great when blended in with distortion and effects. The clipper can be used to adjust the clipping level of the output circuit. The hardware view sequencer section is located at the bottom part of the instrument. It provides essential information and controls for sequencing your patterns and works in 3 modes: sequencer, ARP, and external. In sequencer mode, triggering the keyboard triggers a sequence. In the ARP mode, it triggers an arpeggio. The external mode allows you to play the instrument chromatically from an external MIDI clip or MIDI controller. The pattern section shows you the currently selected pattern. You can switch the patterns while keeping the same sound with the arrows. Pressing hold allows you to latch the notes and focus on tweaking the tone of the sound with all the parameters available in the signal path. This quickly becomes a lot of fun when utilizing the slide, accent, and vibrato buttons, which override those programmed into the pattern as you press them momentarily. In addition to the main panel functions, there's the advanced panel that unfolds additional modules, including an extended sequencer, modulator sources, and effects. The sequencer allows you to browse, edit, and create sequences for your project on the fly. To browse sequences, you can use the sequence browser. It displays the name of the selected pattern, and then by clicking on it, you can open the pattern browser to explore available sequences. The lock function allows you to lock the current pattern, enabling you to change sounds while keeping the sequence intact. Besides selecting and editing available sequences, you can also interact with the piano roll to create your own melodies. Use the left click of your mouse to introduce notes and the right click to delete them. Once they're in, you can activate slide, accent, and vibrato per step, as well as change the octave range for each step, resulting in simple yet useful sequences, such as this one. If you wish, you can extend your sequence up to 64 steps, or use the notes randomization option to make the sequence a bit more unpredictable, like this. On the left side of the piano roll, there are some handy sequencing options. Starting from the top, you can save your current sequence, drag and drop your MIDI pattern to your DAW, reset the sequence, or duplicate its content. Another handy feature is the scale mode. This adds a specific musical scale to the sequence, and randomizing the sequence takes the scale into account. Moreover, there are playback settings that offer further control and variations for your sequences. You can change the playback mode, synchronization, time division, length, swing amount, and even rotate the sequence. polymetric mode, you can create short but evolving sequences with different step lengths for each sequencer lane, resulting in a sound like this. Once polymetric mode is enabled, you can edit the length of each lane in the sequencer. Here's how you do it. To change the length of a lane, simply click and drag the end of the lane to the desired length. This allows you to create sequences with varied step lengths in different lanes. If polymetric mode has never been enabled on a sequence before, enabling it will automatically set each lane with a different length. The default lengths for each row may vary and need to be defined. The reset parameter determines the number of bars after which all tracks will reset to step 1. This feature provides the option to align tracks and start the sequence again at a specific interval. Transmutation allows you to generate and alter sequences in a playful and inspirational way. It's highly recommended to use the acid scales in conjunction with the generation process for optimal results. Here's how it works. To generate a new sequence, you have two options. Clicking the Generate button with the current slider value will instantly generate a new sequence based on the default settings. Clicking and dragging the slider sets an amount, and upon releasing the mouse button, a new sequence will be generated with a harmonic spread based on the defined amount. It's important to note that the generation process is destructive, meaning it replaces the existing sequence with a new one. However, you can always revert back to the previous state using the undo/redo functionality provided in the bottom toolbar. The transmutation feature also allows you to alter the density of the existing or generated sequence. Density refers to the number of active notes in the sequence. By adjusting the density parameter, you can increase or decrease the number of active notes in the sequence. The algorithm used in the density control removes less important notes first and keeps the more important ones. The arpeggiator mode allows you to create acid-style arpeggios by playing notes on your keyboard or from MIDI clips and applying sequence attributes and grooves. In arpeggiator mode, the sequence notes are not visible in the piano roll. Instead, the piano roll displays the notes being played or received by lighting up the corresponding keys. The pattern selection in the sequencer is replaced by the arpeggiator mode selection. You can choose from various arpeggiator modes to define the direction, rate, gate, and pattern of the arpeggiation. Acid V comes with 3 modulators, which are function generators with some characteristics of LFOs and envelopes, offering you some flexible modulation capabilities. You can simply drag and drop your modulation source onto your destination, like this, to create movement within your presets. Doing so will turn the simplest sequence into something interesting, especially when creating slow, evolving modulations, making your presets alive and not static. Once the routing is created, you can change the modulation amount with the pop-up circle that appears under the modulation destination every time you hover over it. This makes modulation creation and editing fast and intuitive. You can use different modulation shapes and rates to achieve various results, as well as set your cycles to run freely or loop, and use ready presets to kickstart your modulation routings. The last thing I'll talk about, and the last thing in the signal chain, are the effects. These consist of 4 bus effects that you can use all at once. There are 17 available spatial, dynamic, and modulation effects. Each one provides a lot of controls and a dry-wet fader to control the mix ratio. These provide lots of diversity, allowing you to adjust your final sound and make it song ready. They really make a huge difference when you compare your sounds with and without the presets. Their definitive strength is that they are also available as modulation sources, so make sure to take advantage of that as well. And that's a wrap. Hopefully this tutorial gave you insight into Acid V's unique and powerful 303 sound, combining original analog character with modern synthesis and sequencing. If you want to see more great content from software tutorials to artist stories, subscribe to our channel below, and don't forget to give us a thumbs up. See you next time.